Alkinani, founding director of the Arab Perspectives Institute, who's right here in the studio. Abbas Aslani, senior research fellow at the Center for Middle East Strategic Studies, is in Tehran. But our very own Osama bin Javaid has a bit of breaking news for us. And tell us about this communique.
Well, we now can confirm that a senior Pakistani source has told Al Jazeera that there is a document that has been given to Pakistan by the Trump administration that Pakistan has now presented to the Iranians, and a response is awaited. I asked them about what the content of these points are, and because it is, they want diplomacy to prevail, they want to keep it under wraps before there is any conclusion of this. That is why we've been told that these points are what you already know about. There is definitely the most important point on the agenda is Iran's nuclear program, that Iran needs to give it up. Iran needs to give up all of the fissile material that it has, and it also needs to end its ballistic missile program. What is also included, what was not there in the previous lists, is the end of Iran's influence across regional countries. What is new this time around, though, is a guarantee that Iran is not going to attack energy infrastructure across the Gulf. It is also going to allow the safe passage of oil and gas from the Strait of Hormuz, and it is not going to use it as a choke point. Now, you have to understand that the comments that you just mentioned about the Iranian ambassador to Pakistan is also coming on the backdrop of this, because what we can say for certain now that there is no direct negotiation that is happening between the Iranians and the Americans, but there is communication that is ongoing. And that provides a really good off-ramp for this region to come back to some sort of an agreement. Now, what is extremely important here is why Pakistan? And I asked this question multiple times to various people because the Egyptians are at play, the Turks are at play, the Omanis have been playing a crucial role. But what I've been told by these sources is that Pakistan is in a very unique position where it has the trust, it has a defense agreement with Saudi Arabia from the GCC. It's the leader that is there for the military, Field Marshal Asim Munir, has a special relationship with Donald Trump, which trumps a lot of other things. And then on top of all of that, it can be trusted by Iran to communicate. Now, can it can it be interlocutor or mediate? Well, that is a very different question. But right now, Pakistan is in that position where it can essentially play that role of bringing all of these sides together. I have not been able to get any confirmation of whether any officials are going to be traveling to Islamabad soon to hold these talks. But again, this is a positive sign, according to diplomats and security officials, that Iran is now being given an off-ramp. The decision and the language from Iran will have to wait and see.
It's almost the same thing as an unconditional surrender. So is this really a realistic point from negotiations?
Well, a lot of these points, as we previously discussed, have always been there. It's always been on the table to negotiate Iran's nuclear program. It's always been on the table to discuss its ballistic missiles, discussing Iran's proxy network in the region, not only through the U.S., but also through different regional actors.
What's new here is the Strait of Hormuz.
Is the Strait of Hormuz and the assassination of Khamenei, which makes Iran a bit more persistent now in its negotiations, given that it's going through a mode of survival political mentality here. A lot of the things, or a lot of the political rumors and the predictions we previously discussed about, there certainly are talks. The question is, how serious are these talks, and are they on the same page? You know, we're glad that our colleague Osama were able to verify this, that we are in talks that are facilitated officially or unofficially by Pakistan through a back channel of communications. Now, for the way the war looks like, this is really important. It's a very important update to know that these regional international actors are involved in talks. What's remaining here is that will both sides agree and align that these talks are sustainable enough, given that Trump is announcing some of the conditions to make it official, to make it look in a symbolic way that U.S. is setting the conditions and the terms, but also at the same time putting these conditions to allow Iran to accept it in one way or another.
They've got to give them some